Hey guys, Akariss here, bringing you a brand new Fire Emblem Heroes video. This one more relevant to our news, which is covering the new duel skills. So instead of covering new heroes, who otherwise you probably know how I feel about new heroes, I'm going to cover the potential of these new duel skills, which is actually pretty important. So with that being said, look forward to some builds and maybe some future potential of these. Keep in mind that it's just my opinion, and generally speaking, you don't really have to commit to duel skills since they do cost an orbs to get nonetheless. Sit back and enjoy. Alright guys, so welcome to the duels, infantry, and flying video. I'm going to call this basically what you should consider or think about going down the road. Now, the new duel skills are actually an upgrade, but they do have some conditions that are a little bit different from the old duel skills. It's been almost 2 years since we got those duels, those duel 3 skills. This one gives 2 to all stats, so it's kind of like a Fury 2 without the recoil damage plus the original HP 5. It is an upgrade over the old one in terms of stats. Those stats are appreciated. They make a lot of the older units feel better to use and not just completely dead weight with HP 5. So that is a good thing, but the condition here is that legendaries and mythics get tagged with a 175 stat total as opposed to the 180 for every other unit. This means, especially for mythics, that even though you don't have to re-bless them all the time into different seasons, it does mean that it kind of would feel bad to use this on, let's say, like Naga instead of Est, because just using it on Est means you'll have a higher scoring unit, and then Naga wouldn't because of that mythic condition. So that kind of feels bad, but does enhance the capability of some of the old legendaries and a lot of very specific units as well. So I want to mention a couple things why duel skills in general are good. First of all, these are sparkable. These first ones here are due to the new genealogy banner, which just came out. So sparkable means you summon 40 times, you get that unit for free, and that's guaranteed fodder. That's really good. I'm glad that they incorporated that guarantee. I remember summoning for the old duels way back when and probably spent like 300 orbs, which wasn't that fun. So now you can guarantee upgrading your older units into something relevant for Arena. That's a good change. That's number one. Number two, it should make Arena a little bit more relaxing to play, because now it means a lot of these old units will start showing up again in Arena as people give them duel skills, and duel skills themselves aren't as oppressive as other A skills. Like Distant Counter, for example, covers both the melee and range units attack into, so if someone's using a duel skill, you can attack them with a range unit for free. And of course, it's not like an impact skill, a solo skill, or a push skill, so generally speaking, it's just less threatening than the oppressive A skills. So you see some older units now, and that's okay. Some of the preference weapons definitely can stand out to be really annoying, like Seliph, for instance. I'm not covering Seliph specifically, but there's plenty of units who are going to really stand out from this, and this just means you can use your old favorites. Like right now, if you're using like Hannah or Fur or Mass Marth or Seliph, who I don't cover in this video, feel free to use it with them. They're going to be good candidates. I'm just going to provide some examples that I feel are nice to think about, some that even I would use, because these are permanent pool additions, so I might see them in the future, it may not. Keep in mind that the third thing that's kind of good or bad, depending on how you look at it, is a spark is, like if you already have a Corrin, for example, at plus 10 because of AR, it's pretty easy to pick this up, and now you can use them in Arena and AR and just juggling blessings and whatnot if you have them in season. So instead of spending like 220,000, 240,000 feathers on like Hannah or Kalik, plus potentially 1350 to 2700 grails, this is like a pretty low orb cost. It's like 140, 160 orbs, and you guarantee yourself a very up-to-date scoring unit, potentially good as well, depending on who you give this to. So those are some really good pros that I want to mention about the duel skills. Of course, there's the lack of like distant counter on some units, or the lack of just a good A skill, solos and pushes, and that's where things will get a bit tricky. But with that being said, let's cover some examples of who I feel will use these new duel skills well, both the R duel and B duel flying, R duel infantry, B duel flying. I'm going to mention some examples, but honestly, just pick your favorite unit and dump it on there and make them Arena relevant again. Of course, one bad thing is that like now that a lot more people will get this, that does mean that Arena probably ends up being more competitive. That's the last thing I'll say. Let's jump into my first example. As you can see down there, it's Corrin. And despite it not being like a bonus unit kill Arena system, it's still nice, for example, to pair up Corrin here with like Hannah. If you invest in like Ninja Hannah, and she's your primary carry for like sweeping water teams, you can easily just add Corrin into your core like trio. And considering there's so many blue legendaries, this is really easy to do. Like Fjorm, Corrin, and Hannah, boom, you have yourself a water trio. And red Corrin, you know, he's gonna round out your trifecta of weapon triangle, but also enhance the capabilities of a super carry like Hannah, who was already doing a lot of work for me. So sample build, play around with it, whatever you have. But generally speaking, this is awesome. You can make something like it just makes anyone better. And Corrin, I feel, is a good candidate for this. Marth could also work if you want to. It really doesn't matter. I want to bring to the attention of Tharja as well, for not someone just strictly supporting. I feel like Tharja is actually a solid candidate for this as well, and that's because she has a Blade Tome in her weapon and a dull skill, like a daunting effect, which reduces attack and speed. So she ends up kind of in a dual-ish role where she can definitely support some other units, but also bring out some nukes. And being ranged is huge. I really appreciate range for being able to manipulate AI. So if you have like a full melee core, using like Tharja could be a great idea here. And she will definitely contribute with some buffs. She will nuke things easily with those with that Blade Tome. Of course, lulls are annoying, but generally speaking, she's a good unit and definitely a good candidate of this if you are thinking about it. Again, I put them in water. This is all water season, but it doesn't matter. You can use this in any season, really. Just try to create yourself a good core set of units, you know, red, blue, green, and that'll cover most bases when you throw in a bonus unit of any color. Finally, I'm going to mention Legendary Ike, who just happened to be on the Legendary Remix. Yes, he comes back in many months from now. But if I'm going to be totally honest, guys, getting a guarantee over multiple banners, even if it takes like a year to complete him, is still better than gambling over a year as well. So what I'm saying is, despite the remix taking a while to come back, which is unfortunate, it's still better to spark and have better rates than a legendary mythic banner. And the fact that these dual skills are now confirmed is big. So you can like give this dual skill to Legendary Ike, and now he's as relevant as Roy, Marth, and honestly like Alm as well. That's crazy good. That is crazy good. Ike definitely got a redemption arc here. He has a better Radiant Ether. Our duel probably fits him better than like most other units because he has the distant counter weapon. Ragnar may be due for refine eventually. Like I can only see Ike getting better here, so he's probably one of the better units to get this. And if Ike is not completed, is completed, or you're working on him, this may be a good pickup to have for him. And if you haven't like sparked him, you don't have an Earth core already, this guy is going to be prime for that. I feel that is one of the better uses of our duel right now. And of course, there's going to be better ones, you know, later. Like G duel could definitely be really good for Lyn if Laws of Decay ends up being a dud, for example, or A scale, or B duel infantry on Legendary Lucina, which I feel could be huge. Alright, so moving on to B-Duel Flying. I'm just going to keep our duel here, infantry, the same, because it doesn't matter. It's the same exact text, but just different units. So we have one of the first and foremost free units that I feel could benefit a lot from B-Duel Flying, and that's going to be Naesala. Naesala is great for this because he doesn't really need to be with like friends. He will probably transform if you use him properly. He's got that 3 movement. His build is very flexible. In the B scale, you don't necessarily need Dive Bomb. You can use anything you want. You can use aerobatics, fire formation, depends what your team is really. You don't even have to use heavy blade in the seal. You can use attack speed solo, but I feel like Gale Force is pretty solid with Dive Bomb. Get yourself a lot of momentum with Naesala over multiple turns, and that 3 movement will definitely help you. So Naesala is definitely one of the better units to be running B-Duel Flying. Would highly recommend him. Moving on, we got Eldigan here. So if you want to take a bit of a score hit, then I feel like Eldigan's good. But even if you don't take a score hit and you give him a Rally Plus, he's still a really solid unit. He's got that guidance, aerobatic support that flyers can give you. He's basically like the flying Lucas of 2020. So easily great support unit, whether you choose to lower your score a little bit with Dance or not, it doesn't really matter. The guy is great. You might already be using him in Ether raids, so this is like an easy toss onto units you already have, and that's what I'm trying to really promote in this video. Use stuff you already have, folks. Give them dual skills, make them relevant, decent candidates. There's so many units I could go over. Honestly, if you have like a flyer arena core, you could literally throw Est in there, Catria, even Pala once our dual flying happens, and there's just so many great options now. I actually am so happy that we got these dual skills, because not only can you guarantee them, but you can bring back a lot of like non-relevant or very specific units like Eldigan here, who might have never seen arena use before this. And finally, I mentioned Naga earlier in the video. Naga is the oldest Astro Mythic, so maybe a lot of people have her merged up, and this would definitely bring her into the spotlight again, other than Ether Raids. Now, it's unfortunate that it's only 175 as opposed to 180 stats, but that's still a very relevant upgrade for someone like Naga. And what makes Naga really cool is that she has Divine Fang, so she can provide that flyer support with Aerobatics Guidance. She has her own Divine Breath, which gets a bunch of buffs if you buff others with Divine Fang, and she has natural synergy with other units like maybe Marth, who have, or Mass Marth, regular Marth with those falchions, and she just gets buffed off of them. And Divine Fang basically makes all dragons pretty much non-relevant that she plays into. The benefit of someone like Naga or Peony, I didn't cover Peony here, but like Naga, for example, is that you don't have to re-bless her, you don't have to throw around blessings around your units. And I guess that's what the whole like 5 stats difference ends up being ultimately. Alright guys, finally, the potential of future duel skills. Now, we did suspect that on the initial batch of duel skills that we would get something maybe for calves or armors. Back then, armors already scored enough to not require duel skills, but now you can definitely expect new armor duel skills maybe. But this might be the chance for dual calf skills, since they are finally permitting stuff like Legendary Leaf and Legendary Lilina and Seliph to exist competitively with other units. And that foundation probably suggests we might see that guy in the future in Arena. So while I did say that Arena might get easier, if dual skills become a thing for calves, it might also get harder, but also easier if you use it. I just wanted to bring this to your attention since we're wrapping up the video here. Yep. Uh-oh. As always, like, subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up if you haven't. That really helps a lot, guys. It really does. Helps the YouTube algorithms and helps me, you know, keep doing what I'm doing here for you guys. And I hope you guys have enjoyed the new layouts, the new content. Of course, let me know in the comments below who you are going to probably give these dual skills to if you get them. If you don't, maybe you're saving for something specific. I'm going to skip them personally because I'm still saving for Corrin, and I really got to get that done. And then maybe I'll start thinking about something like this. Right now, none of this is really appealing, but B-Dual Infantry, for example, could be really appealing for me for Fjorm. So with that being said, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Much love. Peace.